Almost a million. I'm running around in a two-seater. Shawty remind me of Aquafina. I was on I came out facing on the can. I let these hoes just like I'm playing that game. I don't got a girlfriend, I don't got a man. Video. The evolution. I was in Empire. I was just illusion. The evolution of Kenyatta Lee Frazier the third. Let's check it out, man.
Was surrounded by music, often finding himself in. Growing up in Atlanta,
I hate when this line at the bottom shows. I don't know how to get rid of that. That happens sometimes.
Ken Carson was always surrounded by music, often finding himself in rooms.
Hold on, I want to get that line out of.
Growing up in Atlanta, Ken Carson was always surrounded by music, often finding himself in rooms with artists like Young Thug and even Travis Scott. Ken pretty much had front row seats to the rap industry early on, but despite his connections, Ken didn't ride anyone else's wave. Instead, he built his own style, developing a distinct sound with his own producers and evolving it with every single album.
Did say back in the day he used to sound like Playboy Cardi, which no, he did not. Oh, there you go.
Whether it be rapping on EDM inspired rage beats or dark distorted grunge beats that many describe as sounding as just noise, here is the evolution of Ken Carson.
Look at him, man. Sounds professional, man.
Before Ken started officially making music, he was always in and around the music scene. Growing up in Atlanta, often called a hip-hop center of gravity, from a young age, Ken was hanging out with the likes of Travis Scott, Young Thug, and Playboy Carti.
Oh, Luxury Tax?
Yeah.
That's
Bro,
crazy.
I've been knowing him since I was like 13. Him and Travis.
Ken had many connections with artists and producers from early on, which came from his childhood best friend, Lil 88. The two had met for his girlfriend at the time, and one day whilst the two teens were on FaceTime call together, Ken would find out Lil 88 has family ties to TM88 and Southside.
Lil 88 is in the back. That's TM88's nephew, and that's Southside's nephew. That's how I like got into like everything. I was on the phone with a girl, and like he was on the other end. I'm like, who the f is that? Like it was him. And I was watching 808 Mafia videos like while we were on the phone, and he like, that's my uncle, and I'm like, no, it's not. But then he like, we were young, so he was like blunt as. Just put him on the phone, and I was like, yo, I'm trying to come over there and work.
At 15, Ken started to go to the studio with Lil 88 to TM88 studio, but he skipped so many school days that he was eventually sent to a military academy.
Dang!
His stay was supposed to be 6 months, but he was kicked out after 2 for sneaking in a phone and calling girls. A real player.
Kicked out of military school? How you get kicked out of military school? That is crazy.
And his connections to 808 Mafia allowed him to befriend superstars the likes of Young Thug, who enjoyed Ken's presence so much he even allowed him to stay over at his crib alone and bring him to his insane studio sessions. With him always being in and around music and in studios, Ken had started recording music on the low, just for himself really, until TM88 and Southside told him to play them something one day, where they were shocked and ended up signing him to the 808 Mafia collective.
I used to be the one making music, but not even on no serious. Just on some like having something to do when they ain't doing nothing. But it was fun to me. I was playing some music one day, and then Southside and TM was like, who the is that? I'm like, they're me. They like, hell nah, I'll play it again. And that's when I knew, like, if they own my shit, I knew the world of my shit.
Which
the GOAT
really leads us into Ken Carson's first era, Boy Barbie, which funny enough, if you didn't know, is how he got his name, as the male character from Barbie is called Kenneth Carson, and with Ken's first name being Kenyatta, it kind of fits. And since we're on the topic of names, fun fact, unlike now, he used to have a $sign in his name.
Ken Carson came from my name, Ken. So the Barbie doll, Ken Carson. Barbie boyfriend. He just got a hard lifestyle. I just want to live like him.
Now, Ken was originally releasing music since around 2017 on SoundCloud. However, all of that is unfortunately deleted
because
and
his girl
lost due to his angry girlfriend removing it all from the website.
Like, yo, that's crazy. It's literally lost media. That's crazy.
And really, the earliest official release we got from Ken before his debut EP was Fold. Ken was originally going to release Boy Barbie in the March of 2019 under his label at the time, 808 Mafia, and his connection to the Atlanta-based producer collective would explain why the original Tease tracklist to the tape had production from legends such as TM88, Weezy, and Richie Sooth, which Ken teased on Twitter. However, this never ended up dropping. because instead he ended up meeting and signing to one of the biggest and most influential artists of the new generation, THAboy Carti. Well, actually, I'm kind of lying, because the two have actually known each other since Ken was literally a kid. He would first meet Carti at a studio session with Southside, but he wouldn't see him again until years later down the line at a show in LA, where Ken would end up getting kicked out the venue for fighting. But luckily for him, Carti had recognized him and got him a wristband so he would be allowed back in. And the two would then again reunite around 2019 and 2020, where Ken would play him a couple songs, and by the third one, Carti wanted to sign him to his Opium label.
I'm not gonna lie, Carti told me he wanted to sign me before I was even like on my third song. I played him like one song and like showed him my Instagram, and he was like, bro, I want to sign you.
The project would officially end up dropping on the 12th of May in 2020.
Yeah, we're going
and
6
instead
songs.
of having senior 808 Mafia members, as previously stated, the project would instead feature production credits from upcoming 808 Mafia producer Lil ATA, alongside more notable names such as Richie Soof and DJ Moon, who are both well-recognized Atlanta-based producers. And even with this being his first project, Ken still managed to get some solid features from Lil Yachty and British artist Lancey Foe, who at one point in time was also rumoured to be signing to Opium. On this tape, we would hear Ken test out a lot of different sounds, whether it be rapping with heavy auto-tune over spacey beats such as Gold Medal, or something more aggressive and raw such as Mosh Pit and Geeked Up. No one really knew the direction Ken was taking. However, he did give fans a large taste of sounds in such a small project. But as Ken said himself in his interview with OGM, this project was really just so he has something to his name, as of course since his girlfriend had deleted all his music, he was now a rapper with no music out. Ken had even stated how one of the songs Geeked Up was from 2017 and was one of the first songs he had recorded in a studio.
It's really? But it's old as hell though. I probably made it like 2017.
But overall, it was mid. Songs like Gold Medal, Geeked Up, and Pink Panther have some cool vibes, but not something I would go back to regularly. But for a first official tape, it was okay.
Yeah, no. Lost Files is definitely like his best like little SoundCloud EPs, bro.
And would quickly move on.
We need a new Lost Files, bro, with
probably
Chrome Heart Lens and all that on it, bro.
We need a new Lost Files. Carti's Opium, so we had to go with something that had a bit more aura and mystique. This led to Ken dropping another tape titled Teen X
Relapse
2020.
Oh, here we go.
Completely changing his image.
Why is this
production? The majority of this tape was produced by the back then upcoming Dutch duo Starboy and Out of Town, who are now seen as the pioneers of this entire rage genre, creating this EDM mixed with hip hop.
Starboy and you know what I'm saying? They both like Starboy, Out of Town. Them boys, they made Project X. They made Project X the project it is to this day, bro.
With the trio collaborating to
land
a huge hit together. Ken's first big moment, Yale.
I keep your hoe upstairs when she wanna. I just heard her ring the bell.
With this song now nearing 400 million streams on Spotify, and she's still his biggest song to this day, and was the first song to really put Ken.
Whoa, why do you only have? Wait,
production style.
Why is
with the
ring the bell?
With this song now nearing.
Why isn't overseason Black Rockstar saved, sir? Mr. Dommy? Why aren't these two songs saved?
400 million streams on Spotify, it is still his biggest song to this day, and was the first song to really put Ken on the map. And even though it is one of his oldest, it's still regarded as one of his best.
Oh, it for sure is.
Due to the heavy synths and fun lyrics.
I just heard her ring the bell.
This connection to these two producers is probably one of the most important
rock
of
and
Ken's
roll.
career, as they have produced pretty much every single one of his
Apparently, Don Tolliver was supposed to be on rock and roll, which I'm glad he wasn't.
Songs to
this is Ken's
and
song,
still
bro.
continued to produce for him 5 years down the line, completely shifting and influencing his sound every time. I mean, we saw how great the jump from a Boy Barbie to Teen X was. Without them, I'm not sure what Ken would really be rapping on.
Starboy had made some that sounded like some. I mean, I asked him.
Take the grills out,
like,
Ken.
How the hell you even hear that? Because I never even put that song out. He was like, I've been following it, dude, and I fuck with him ever since that day. I talk to him every day on FaceTime. Like, that's him and Out of Town. Those two.
I'm on the phone with them in a group FaceTime call all day, every day.
It seemed like Ken was
Fire.
really perfecting two sounds at once, a psyched out mellow style or an aggressive rage approach, which was not only inspired from Ken's substance heavy party lifestyle,
Yeah,
but
TNX
also
and Project
inspires
X.
The Florida rapper XXXTentacion, known
R.I.P.
for his aggressive rapping on songs such as Look at Me.
To me, X was like a big energy, bro, cause it's like I feel like a rebel. Like I'm not really with everything that the average person's with, or like I'm not thinking like the average motherfucker. That's why I feel so much.
After TNX, Ken had originally announced that he was going to drop Boy Barbie 2, a follow-up to his debut
Boy
tape,
Barbie,
but
really?
this
He'll drop
never
Boy
ended
Barbie
up
2?
happening,
Yeah, he's not gonna
most
Boy Barbie
likely
2.
due to the fact that around this time, artists weren't allowed to perform due to COVID, with it seeming like Ken didn't see the point of dropping if he couldn't perform live. Instead, Ken would wait and take his time to develop his sound, so when he does drop, he can bring something fresh and unique to the table. Ken would continue teasing the project throughout 2020 though, with him
Teen
even
X
showing the
Relapse.
cover art whilst hinting that there will be more features. But in usual Opium style, Ken would lie and not actually release any more music in 2020. However, he would get a huge moment after he co-produced a song, Beano, alongside
Oh, he
his childhood
did?
best friend,
I didn't know he
Lil
co-produced
88,
it.
and the Dutch
I didn't know he
producer
co-produced
Out of
it,
Town,
I'm not gonna
off
lie.
of a Playboy Carti's highly anticipated Whole Lotta Red album. And not only would he get a production credit, but Carti would dedicate an entire song titled to him, Teen X featuring Future. Then moving to 2021, on the 20th
Yes!
of January,
Let's
Ken
start the
would put out
Lost
a
Files.
compilation of throwaway songs on
Lost
SoundCloud
Files.
titled Lost Files. Basically, songs he still wanted to put out, but weren't good enough for an official release. And personally, as someone who loved early Ken Carson,
Put
this
Keys back in
wasn't
Cooker.
really it. These were total throwaways to me. I would say
They are
out of the
throwaways.
6 tracks that dropped, the only real solid one was Opium. And even though these were surprisingly bad, the next week Ken would release probably one of his best early pieces of music, as on the 31st of January of 2021, Ken would drop Teen X Relapsed, the deluxe to the original
Teenager
Teen X
Raging.
tape, with
Teen
him
X,
telling fans
baby,
that this
roll
will be
it
the
up
last
and blaze
mixtape,
it.
suggesting the next project will be an official album. 6 tracks entirely solo, with the easiest way to describe this project really being Teen X Evolved. The beats were catchier, Ken sounded
gosh,
smoother with nicer
so good,
flows,
bro.
everything was
That
just
whole EP
better.
is good.
Again, this time he had the same selection of styles. The fun, bouncy songs such as TNX Babe, Butterfly and Higher Shit, whilst also
I feel
having
like a
songs
butterfly
for
that
the
came out of
shows, such as
Cocoon.
Teenager Rager.
Yeah,
with
man, he
Ken
has some
notably
bangers on
saying
that,
in
man.
an interview around this time period that he wants people to turn on his music when they want to feel happy, which may be the inspiration behind him making this style of music and always having a big grin on his face.
Like when you're mad or sad or something, like turn me on when you want to get happy or turn up. I don't never want to make any music where I feel like anybody's down or trying to make anybody sadder. I don't like that type of music.
And not only did Ken perfect his sound on this tape, but also his visuals. Edited by the notable underground video editor, Night Hive, the crazy visuals perfectly
Yeah, I ain't gonna
matched
lie,
Ken's
it was
sound.
crazy videos on
Now, even though this
visuals.
project did not have a standout viral song, it was definitely a step in the right direction, as it was way more polished and solid across the board,
Yep.
with the project featuring the same production as before, pretty much entirely Starboy and Out of Town, with additional credits from Lil 88, Rourke Bailey, and Jubilee. After this project was released is when Ken would start performing small underground shows, which he would quickly become known for due to the high energy and chaotic performances. And after that,
I don't know the lyrics
Team X
by
era
heart.
was officially over, and as Ken had promised, he would
I've
no
never
longer be
seen that
putting out
footage.
EPs.
I've never seen what? I've never seen a red. When did he drop a red variant? When did he drop a red variant?
and was
I never knew
officially
he dropped the
in
red
album
variant.
mode, with it looking like he was naming his debut album Project X, inspired by
His best album, his best piece of work. I'm sorry, his best piece of work.
the iconic
Best
movie
piece of work.
Project X.
Best piece
or
of
did
work.
the movie copy him? But before that, Ken would feed his fans with
Left House 2, yeah, okay. Glock 19, Glock 19 before I was 19. Glock 19, Celebrate Eminem, Ben Bragging, Kill Streak, Team Bean.
The Lost Files.
Oh, yeah,
Released
it's
in
some
July
bangers
of
on this one, too.
2021, Ken put out another handful of throwaway songs.
Hey, I was the one on the block.
Not Pope. I hadn't got 19 before I was 19 years old.
Again, I wouldn't really say a lot of these were anything to write home about, apart from Teen Bean, Glock 19, and Eminem. Of course, with Teen Bean being a song that holds
See, like you can't,
history due to this being a supposed diss track at the now retired underground rapper Can, with Glock 19 also being a great song. Ken was using this soft voice which really fit well onto this mellow beat he was rapping over. But I would say most of these songs were similar to what he put on Teen X and the Deluxe. Overall, nothing crazy.
And sorry to interrupt the video, but over the past couple weeks, I've been working extremely. This doesn't of your
which is based on a bunch of high schoolers.
Here we go.
But yeah, DonMikowski.com got hella cheap shipping to the USA and the UK, and even Europe. Got hella cheap shipping to the USA and the UK, and even Europe.
Alright, buddy. Alright, buddy. Alright, buddy.
Eventually, on the 23rd of July in 2021, Ken would drop his debut studio album.
Every song on here is gold.
Project X, taking huge inspiration from the 2012 movie, which is based on a bunch of high schoolers throwing the most chaotic party known to man, with the cover art being the same as the movies, and just that entire party and substance aesthetic being a huge part of this era of Ken. As he said himself, it relates back to how he lived during his teen days, going to crazy parties and doing substances.
I feel like everybody who watches that movie feel like they should have been to a party like that throughout their life. Me personally, I've been to a party like that.
TV is
like
the GOAT,
man. Video of me online, like at the party, I'm like on top of a roof or some shit, and I like turn the camera around, it's like 1 million people.
This project would once again be predominantly produced by Starboy, Out of Town, and Lil 88, whilst having other notable producers such as Loso, KP, and Rock. The project continued the entire EDM beats with heavy auto-tune, probably being my favorite style or era of Ken, and also of course the more aggressive songs such as Hella and Clutch, with Ken just overall sounding way more comfortable on this project and had way better quality of sound or mix in general, you could say. You know, on his past projects you could tell he was an underground rapper that wasn't too sure on what he was trying to accomplish, whereas on these he's just way more confident and clearer. And yeah, as I said, personally this is just like my favorite style of Ken. It's just so fun and addicting. Songs like Change, So What, and Party All Day just have these bouncy mellow beats which Ken fits perfectly on, and really just put a huge smile on my face every time I listen to them. After Project X, Ken would join his label boss Playboy Carti for the King Vamp tour, where alongside Destroy Lonely, Ken would open up the shows. An amazing opportunity to show fans not only his music but also his energy, which he did perfectly at these shows, as even though many of the people there may have not known who he was, the crowd was still turned. With this video from the King Vamp tour on the 8th of November in 2021 in Los Angeles, showing kids jumping down from the seating area to storm the standing section, giving us a perspective on how much of a diehard fan base Ken had from early on.
I said nothing bad. 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 Bro, I said nothing bad.
Before, but this performance just felt different. It felt so cinematic and theatrical. It felt like I was in a movie when he performed the song Hella. What a great feeling I will never forget. The show was so fucking legendary, bro. So much chaos. Ken, Carson said
more chaos. Great chaos.
He made all the people with seat tickets start jumping off the terrace, running downstairs through security. At one point, the security started punching everybody. Ha 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 ha. With him even then being given a nighttime show at Rolling Loud that same year. Ken was making huge steps forward in his career, and it would only continue to get better, as after this, Ken would put out his best Lost Files yet, full of incredible songs. On the 29th of January in 2022, Ken would release Lost Files 3, featuring longtime friend Lil Tecca, Offset, and Freshly.
This is his best one? It had murder music on it. Influence? Influence is fire. Gang is fire, hang fire, overdose, shoot.
Okay.
His best one is kind of crazy.
But if you know, you know. We didn't really talk about the Offset song, as it was basically confirmed that Carti gave him a verse from him to Ken, as when a blog page posted the song, Offset would comment, "Don't know dude." With Murder Music
I remember
being
that.
probably the best song out of all of these, to me this feels like the first actual Rage song from Ken that showed us the route he was heading down. Like of course we had a Yale, Teenager Rager and Teen Bean, which were aggressive sounding and I guess had aspects of Rage in them, but this one was probably the most polished and pure Rage sounding one yet. We would also see Ken experiment on this tape a little bit, his first time on a filthy beat via Shoot, which honestly sounded pretty atrocious. Ken tried doing this high-pitched, almost Carti Hollow Red V2 style, but it just didn't really work. And then I Influence, produced by Earl on the B, which gave us a nice laid-back feel. Now after this Lost Files, we wouldn't see the usual pattern of SoundCloud tape, official release, SoundCloud tape, official release. Instead, Ken would put out another Lost Files, unofficially this time, where we would see a huge leap in sound. On the 8th of June in 2022, X23...
This is best one. This is best one. F for breakfast. That's how breakfast. X Games. Aquafina. Oh, Aquafina. I've heard Aquafina in so long. That's even my song. I remember I was on Spotify playing that. Aquafina. Anita. Yeah. Aquafina is that song for
in
real.
full on SoundCloud, giving us 10 absolutely amazing
Aquafina
Ken
is
Carson
fire.
songs.
Hold on. I gotta play Aquafina real quick. Aquafina is so fire. It should be on SoundCloud. Aquafina, man. I haven't heard this song in like 2 years. I used to play it on Spot. I don't know when I started Spotify. I had Spotify. It's still people like going back to it, bro. It's just so good, bro. Almost 1 million. I'm running around in a two-seater. Shawty remind me of Aquafina. I need her.
I'll do anything to make her smile. I'll do anything to please her. Drove a Honda with 100,000 miles. Bought a new Beamer.
She look just like Aaliyah. Have you seen her? She got long hair,
Just like she from Korea. And she don't care about nobody. Can't fuck about one of these people. Yeah, she a homebody. She pop out when I need her. And she remind me of Aquafina. Have you seen her?
Oh, that's so good, bro. He is the GOAT.
The opening track, Eggs for Breakfast, featuring
X-Man.
Detroit would show us Ken attempting a filthy beat again, this time flowing on it incredibly,
It was fire.
with Lone complimenting him very well, giving us crazy energy. Alongside this new electric rage sound,
Yeah, I remember
we'd
it
get
long.
more fun songs such as Stick, Pop, and Pink, featuring Travis Scott's signee, THABO, which again are just 3 really fun, electric, bouncy songs. Even though Ken isn't saying much and is drowned in 10 layers of auto-tune. And we're not finished yet. Aquafina, produced by Dutchman Loso,
So good.
Ken would give us a track where he deeply reminisces about his ex-girlfriend.
So good.
Probably one of his most popular leaks to date. Is there a better Ken love song than this?
She bad, though.
Maybe I
Makes
Need You.
sense.
With Ken then ending off the tape with
Oh yeah, definitely. I Need You. Everybody likes that song. I Need You.
Tracks. Should have listened Lil Vamp, which samples Carti and Uzi's 2017 Wake Up Like This, and the final track, Delinquent, another filthy track. Overall, a
Delinquent.
huge jump in sound from Project X and Lost Files 3,
Yeah.
with him really moving away from the more mellow beats and heading deeper into the entire EDM Rage style. Anyways, let's move on to X.
It's just X.
Ain't no TNX no more, it's just X.
X.
Ken said on track 7 of his sophomore album, X.
X.
Ken has evolved from being the teeny tiny
X is extended, man. Fire.
into
A lot
the
of
big
people
boy,
don't really like
just
X or
now,
extended.
whatever that means. I
But-
don't even know if that even made sense.
Sweat overload.
Which can also be seen in the cover art of the project, where he's crossing his arm into an X shape whilst flipping us off during his toddler stages. Or maybe he's like 10, I don't know. Released on the 8th
Bro,
of
he's
July
not a toddler, bro. Chill
2022, X gives us Ken's probably most hated on project to date. I remember when
Yes.
this released, people were just hating it, especially that around this time, Lone also dropped No Stylist, so people were like, oh yeah, Destroy Lonely
Oh,
is way
yeah.
better, more versatile.
Oh,
and
yeah.
was just, like, better than Ken. It was not great times being a Ken Carson fan back then. But to be fair, No Silas was just simply that good. Anyways,
really
whether it
was.
was due to it being repetitive or giving us 2 songs in a row with pretty much the exact same beat,
It literally was 2 songs in a row with the same beat. Like, it literally was. Like, I still never understood why he would do that. Like, it sounds like a 4-minute Kid Carson song. Why would you do that? Hold on. It's, I think it's New in Gems. Wait, no, it's not new. No, it is literally, I hear it.
New whip,
New car.
new crew, new fit, new swag, new shoe, new bitch, new
And then, like, it's literally the same beat. Hold on. I was
smoking on the spliff.
I was
fucking
on the-
milf.
I was-
pushing up on bitches in the A and the lump.
Yeah.
I was giving bitches dick, yeah, they treat it like a gift. Cause a
Yeah.
bitch, she ain't getting shit from me, I treat it like a milk. She put her knees with my feet at it, blew me like a blimp. I fuck that bitch and I leave, yeah, I can't go out like no simp.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, I like.
Hey, somebody.
Come on, bro. But it's fire though. New and Gems are fire, but it's literally like the same beat. But this album also started the freestyle series, which is hopefully he gets into that.
New and Gems.
Oh, he played it already. Literally like the same beat, just
Overall,
like
when this project
Gems
first
like
released,
distorted, I
it was
guess.
just getting a lot of hate. I do see where people are coming from though, of course. I think the project is a bit dragged out, repetitive, and lacks replay value, because from personal experience,
It is kind of long, right? Isn't it like, it's 20 songs. Okay, that's actually not that bad. I'm pretty sure extended is like, yeah, well, it's
if you try to
never mind.
listen to this project more
Yo,
than
his dreads look so cut. It's like he has a front taper, but it's not even like, yo, he used to look rough.
once, you will
He
get
used to
headache,
look
or
rough,
all the songs
bruh.
will just start sounding the same.
like, in some
However,
angles and
this
stuff,
is one of my favorites and really
he used to look
foreshadowed where
rough.
Ken was heading with his sound. Most of the production on the electric sounding rage songs such as MDMA, Murder Music, and Thug 12 came from Guess Who, Starboy and Out of Town. But probably the most important song of not only this project, but Ken's
Freestyle.
career was Freestyle 2. As
Yup.
not only did this go insanely viral, setting off a TikTok
Is that White
trend,
Boy M?
but with this
Ugh.
song being a filthy produced,
Oh, he does like
dark,
that.
distorted mess. It showed Ken what the fans liked. Just
Freestyle
complete
1,
dark grunge
Freestyle 2,
rage,
Freestyle 3.
which was probably what inspired
Oh,
him to
so
completely
good.
step away from the bouncy electric beats and go chaos instead, which leads
We
us
need a Freestyle 4.
to Ken's next era, A Great Chaos. But
A Great Chaos is just like perfect. It's literally perfect. Like, I should say Project X is his best like piece of work, but after that is A Great Chaos.
actually, I lied. Ken would also drop a deluxe 2X, probably due to the heavy criticism.
Extended.
With him feeling like he
It was like 4 extra songs, right? And it was all like kind of like slowed down more. My size so dope. Miss I mean what that shit. They did
potentially
right.
needed to give us something better to the fans so they don't hate
was like
too
4
hard,
songs,
which
though.
is when he gave us a different sound.
Swag
nobody
Overload.
expected. As 3 months after X,
Something
on the
else.
31st of October, Ken will drop Extended. He gave us 5 new tracks.
Oh, it's 5.
The
Lookbook,
opening
Swag-
song,
yeah.
Freestyle 3 being another pure rage song. And with this being another one of the most streamed songs from the project, it seemed like again the fans really enjoyed the dark grunge rage style,
Bro.
with the 4 other songs being very mellow and
Yeah,
nothing like the bottom
see?
4, featuring
Yeah.
production from Earl on the Beat, Bart Howe, Lucrative, Lucian, Salt, and Jonah Abraham. And with these songs being amazing,
The
I don't
end.
really see
This
them
is the
getting
end of
talked
the
about
video.
very often. Probably
They
because
really aren't. But they're so good. Lookbooks, like over, like yo.
looks wasn't very anticipated, and when X released, Ken was just not very big. Like he had like 1 or 2 monthly listeners, I think, maybe even 3 monthly listeners after like Freestyle 2 blew up. Considerably small compared to where he is now. The next release of music from Ken would be a Lost Files.
I know
This
you
time
hear
Lost Files
me.
4, where
This is the best Lost Files. I don't care what none of y'all say. It's literally banger. Like yo, like. I'm not gonna lie, like no one can beat Lost Files 4 when it comes to like unreleased music. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, actually, no, I'm tripping. Like, I'm talking about like a underground or like a I don't know what I'm trying to say, but Lost Files 4, I don't know if it's still on SoundCloud. I might have gotten removed. But like, this isn't like, it's like the mix, but it's not like the playlist. This isn't, no. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of cooked. It is right here though. It's just, hold on. 808, yeah.
Suicide of her, KMS. Suicide of her, KMS.
Shoot him in his head if he got bulletproof vest. What? Hold on.
Yeah, shoot him in his head if he got a bulletproof vest. I can't lose sleep by no bitch. Nah, I can't stress.
Hold on.
This shit is sleep.
Player.
Don't tell her DB want some cocoa. No swimming, she want me to struggle. I hit from her bag, she love how I talk her. Yeah, she love that shit.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love my bitch.
Let's go shopping.
No weed, but I used to fall. And when that money
I was gone.
I just ran out of shit. He see me, he ain't do shit.
I should have known
this nigga was a bitch. You can't call your click up. I'ma pull up by myself with that stick.
Pull up the artillery.
It ain't even
Higher and flyer. So fire.
See me, I get higher than you. Yeah, I am fire than you. These niggas watching all my moves, and they do whatever I do. And they know I got the vibe too. Look at me, I get higher than you. Look at me, I get flyer than you. See me, I say higher and flyer. Hey, most of these niggas be liars. Hey, most of these niggas be cap.
Yeah.
I do whatever I desire. Oh my God, on my lap. If a nigga try me, I'm gon' fire. That boy,
Free Thug.
Most of these niggas
Free Thug is like his like one of the like most popular unreleased.
be me.
Yo, I know you hear me. I know you hear me calling. Ain't pick up the phone cause I was too busy ballin'. I'm in New York shopping, you can't catch me out of mall. I'm in Korea with my bitch, she pissed some shit on like that's all. Yeah, I did shit. I asked her what she wanna eat. She said she want my
Yo, it's like nostalgia hearing that song. It's crazy.
like that. I had her look the phone cause I was
Yeah.
Bitch,
I'm back from the dead till I keep. I resurrected and these niggas still ain't reaching me. Come on. What else?
Bitch, my motherfucking blick. Why don't that nigga on your heel? Take your time before I let you reach me.
Hold on.
Before I let you fall on. I switch on lanes before I let it take it on these. Take them boys on the chase. I'm skirting out too high. I can't put my face on no I can't. I let these hoes just like I'm playing that game. I don't got a girlfriend. I don't got a man. I'm just fucking these hoes. I've been going that same. Fucking these hoes. I've been going
Come on, bro. Yeah. What is that? Yeah.
I been rocking shit. I got power storm. I might cocking shit. Fuck the paparazzi.
I don't wanna take no pic.
I just look
Like, yo, Lost Files 4 is his best Lost Files.
Ken would evolve his sound once again. Released on the
Banger,
3rd of January
banger.
of
Oh,
2023, Ken would give us 8 tracks which sounded completely different what we got on X. Instead of the usual bouncy EDM rage beats, we got more so of dark grunge beats.
Dark
Well, kind
grungy,
of.
yep.
Suicidal, Bosses, and Back from the Dead showcases that style, similar to Freestyle 2. However, the rest of the tape was songs that sounded like they would in fact fit on X. Whilst on this
Free
project,
Thug is so like I'm surprised I'm still curious why he never dropped like how is Lost Files 4 not good enough to be a real release? Like how? Free Thug alone? Oh my
he
god.
did have the usual.
That's like I Need You Part 2,
Starburn
or like
and
Part
Town
1, I guess.
production. He
Well, I guess
also
part-
has some new people on the board with the
Oh,
likes
no.
of Nick Mirror, Cliff Shane, and Gabe. This project played a pretty important role
Yeah,
as
I'm
it laid out the
paranoid.
foundations
Yeah,
for
I'm
his next
paranoid.
album. And
Yeah,
with one of the
like,
tracks
that
from the tape, Free Young Thug, going viral on TikTok, this was a
Literally.
great start to his next rollout. And now as we move closer to the release of A Great Chaos, we weren't only seeing Ken switching up his sound, but also his entire aesthetic. As we know beforehand,
Talk about the Great Chaos rollout, cause that was a lot. It was supposed to drop in July and got postponed to October. It was like but fire rollout, fire aesthetic. The Great Chaos 2023, 2024 aesthetic. Still like it was like his Oh my god, it was so fire.
Ken's image was always that dark, mysterious, opium aesthetic.
so fire,
However,
bro.
Ken would now start pushing this very eerie and quite odd gore imagery. He would even launch an Instagram account.
I was about to say this. This whole Great Chaos aesthetic era, this was like it's weird because it feels so nostalgic. It was like 2 years ago. It feels so nostalgic, but it just brings back good. Like it was just so fire. It was just so fire. Yes, it was some weird stuff he did post at times. Like it was like a lot of like, I don't know. It was some weird stuff at times, but it was just fire.
Chaos, where he would post images which contained blood, guts, and references to an extreme website called Live League. And this wasn't something Ken was doing just to gather attention and controversy around his name. On social media, fans would regularly see him liking animal gore videos, and even confirmed in an interview that's what he likes to do in his spare
This is cap. This is cap. This is actually cap.
time. And that was really only the surface.
He doesn't have an
of the
obsession with gore,
controversy
bro.
surrounding Ken's new rebrand.
Come on, bro.
As of course, throughout the entire OPM label, there is many references to Satan, especially with their infamous upside down cross, which in fact featured on the official album cover you see today.
This is a good album
was
cover.
caught on body cam explaining to a police officer that is actually the St. Peter's cross, but I think we all know that isn't true. And eventually in the October of 2023, Friday the 13th, we would see Ken deliver his most anticipated and biggest project yet, A Great Chaos, with fan grails such as Jennifer's Bodies, Paranoid, and Singapore all trending on TikTok. Ken was about to go mainstream.
That's why it was so fire, I think, because like Paranoid was doing crazy on TikTok before it like dropped, but he sold on Paranoid. Like, why would you snippet a sped up version that sounds better and then drop it and it's like, bro, Paranoid is too slow. It needs to be sped up. It's too slow. Like, I don't know why he did
18
that.
tracks where Ken gave us his biggest selection of sounds yet. We had the perfect mix of mosh pit songs such as Fighting My Demons,
Oh
Hardcore,
my god.
Midnight
Go ahead.
It's Over,
Oh my
whilst also
every song on A Great
showcasing
Chaos is
his
fire.
experimental side
Like,
with the two
it's
Nightcore
perfect. It's a
inspired
perfect
tracks,
album.
and even rapping on more generic trap beats on songs such as Like This featuring Lil
mean,
and
I
Uzi and Rockstar Lifestyle. There was some upset with one of the songs called Paranoid. As prior to the release of the album, Ken had recently played the song at UK festival Wireless, where it sounded pitched or slowed down. However, when Ken had previewed the snippet previously, it sounded much faster and at a higher pitch.
What did I just say? What did I just say? Like, bro, I'm telling you, I was there. I was there through all of this, bro. Bro, Paranoid sped up is so much better. Paranoid slow down is way too slow. It just really sucks. I'm not gonna lie. It is very unfortunate.
Saying that the official version sounded boring, whereas the one previewed as a snippet was better as it fit Ken Carson's up-tempo sound. But even with this disagreement, it still ended up being one of the more popular songs on the album, simply as it was an anticipated snippet, debuting at the number 11 position while selling almost 50,000 units in its first week. Ken somehow went viral with a sound that no one really expected to blow up this much. I mean, even Drake reposted
Didn't everybody got
Ken
co-signed by
developed
Drake? I remember
this
that
new
too.
grungy distorted sound out of the blue. If you compare this to the project he released a year ago, it sounded nothing alike. And again, as I mentioned earlier, how I think this all came about is all down to Freestyle 2, the only song to really blow up from X, the filthy produced distorted rage track. So Ken doubled down on what was working and it paid off. And even though he really
tripled
kept the
down
same
with more
producers
chaos
on this project, Starboy, Out of Town, Lil 88, the same ones that produced Teen X in 2020, he somehow delivered a completely different style and feel, with this obviously marking Ken's best and most popular project today.
Yeah,
if you try to listen to it from start to finish, your ears might go numb, but it is incredible and definitely worth it.
Whoa, what was that slight little, what was that little diss? My ears are never going to listening to that Great Chaos. What are you talking about? Now, more chaos, I guess it could. But a great chaos? What?
And the best way to listen to this project is
Like the first song on A Great Chaos is Green Room, which is not like a rage song. It's like an actual, like a, like, compared to More Chaos? What?
It's at a show.
Sydney Sweeney. You know what's crazy? I'm surprised he didn't even say nothing about it. This song leaked, and it was popular. So I'm surprised he didn't really talk about it. Like, it's been leaked, but then he actually,
A big portion of Ken's image already was these crazy rage shows, which can be seen all the way back in 2021 when he was opening up for the Narcissist tour. But with A Great Chaos, he was able to take it to the next level. I mean, he even made Succubus, a mellow love song, which is also a distorted rage song, if that makes sense. It's amazing. I mean, Ken even spoke about how he struggles to make sad music because he's not a very emotional person. So it seems like he just figured it out in a way with his own style.
I don't know if I would do it from a different name, but I definitely been like trying to tap into sad music, but I'm not a super emotional person, so it's like very hard. Like, I salute everyone who made the sad music, because it's like you walked up to the mic and you just like poured your heart out. Like, that's the craziest thing ever.
It seemed like Ken had also got this inspiration to make more chaotic rage music, as he knew people would be appealed by it when they saw his shows. So, A Great Chaos, it's regarded as Ken's best album by a mile, especially to the newer, younger fans, with this also being probably the biggest underground sort of release we've seen since that 2018 era. Now, Ken obviously isn't underground anymore, but prior to A Great Chaos, I would say he was. And the only other artist who made it out and competed with Ken was Ye. Well, shortly after the release of AGC, Ken would tease his fans in a tweet that said more, with it potentially hinting at a deluxe, Lost Files, or an entire new album. Nobody really knew. Well, eventually in the July of 2024, Ken would give us 7 new tracks, with them surprisingly having a different sound than AGC, apart from Sydney Sweeney, which could slot right into the original project. Instead of giving us another handful of distorted rage tracks, he gave us more of these bouncy fun style of songs, like a way better and polished version of X. Yeah, if money was Cocoa Puffs, her I Go Cuckoo. Ken was just trying to have fun with this one, and with none of these tracks being produced by Starboy and Out of Town, as we later would find out he had a falling out with one of the Dutchmen over religious beliefs, Ken instead had producers such as Cliff Shane, Legion, Sky, and Lucian,
my bad. I just zoned out for like 2 seconds.
AGC, apart from Sydney Sweeney, which could slot right into the original project. Instead of giving us another handful of distorted rage tracks, he gave us more of these bouncy fun style of songs, like a way better and polished version of X. Yeah, if money was Cocoa Puffs, her I Go Cuckoo. Ken was just trying to have fun with this one, and with none of these tracks being produced by Starboy and Out of Town, as we later would find out he had a falling out with one of the Dutchmen over religious beliefs, Ken instead had producers such as Cliff Shane, Legion, Sky, and Lucian, to name a few, which to me is why this deluxe sounded so different.
He didn't talk about Jennifer's Body. I just realized that was popular on TikTok too.
Album. And of course, I can't cover the deluxe without mentioning Overseas, which did drop as a single before the deluxe itself, probably as it was a highly anticipated snippet and Ken knew it would perform well by itself, which it did, as it gave Ken his first Billboard charting song, debuting at the 79th position, garnering over 2 million streams in its first day. Absolutely nutty. And to me at first, I thought this deluxe was Ken trying to test out a different style, as this is what his next album will sound like. But I was completely wrong, as the next project was literally...
Now, his project, his new project after More Chaos, it's probably going to be more like that, because, yeah, it's going to be more like that, for sure.
Chaos,
it's not going to be like more like...
Anyways, I don't really see the deluxe being talked about much. I personally think it was great, and I like the fact Ken brought a less rage distorted sound.
It was talked about,
after AGC, Ken would continue down this road of rage. Not only would his imagery get even more controversial with him getting a huge pentagram tattoo on his chest, which had many fans concerned, but his shows would get even crazier, most notably at Coachella in the April of 2024, when Ken was performing right before Lana Del Rey, meaning Lana fans were inside the crowd to get in early. But little did they know, Ken Carson himself was going to ruin their day.
You scared? You should have stayed the fuck home.
Hardcore. I don't think it was Kid Carson. I think it's like, I think it was like just like the mosh pits.
This moment being very similar to when Carti performed at Lollapalooza in 2021, performing right before Miley Cyrus's set, where you could hear her fans screaming on the live stream. Anyways, Ken would announce a couple months before the official release that More Chaos would in fact be dropping on the 11th of April, his birthday. He would deliver a 22-song album, which are perfectly described by the title's name, More Chaos. He would rekindle his relationship with Starboy, meaning the Dutch duo of him and Out of Town, produced on the album, with him overall really keeping the same producers around: Legion, Cliff Shane, Sky, Filthy, Lucrative, Lucian, and so on. I mean, I think it was to be expected. The project is literally titled More Chaos.
Literally.
It's just an extension of A Great Chaos. We did get Pierre Bourne B on track 21 Ghoul, which was nice as them two have had issues in the past, as Pierre didn't want to work with Ken when he was up and coming, which he took personally and even said in a tweet he doesn't want to work with him. But in the end, it seemed like they worked it out. But weirdly, earlier that night, Swamp Izzo, who did the shouting on Iron Music, would tweet out ha 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 ha, which if you didn't know, he tweets when Carti is about to drop music. So of course, fans were anticipating a Carti feature on More Chaos. However, the project would drop at midnight and we got 21 tracks with no Carti.
I remember this.
However, a short time later, another track would be added, Off the Meter, featuring his label mate Destroy Lonely and their label boss Playboi Carti.
This is an old song though,
so collaboration with any of the Opium artists. But the song dropping after the album's official release isn't the only weird thing about it. It's also the fact this song is around 3 years old, as you may be able to tell from Ken's softer voice and the less distorted beat, sounding like something that would slot right into Project X or even X. I also think this is really interesting because you listen to the entire album with these brand new, super distorted rage songs, then you play the last track and can instantly hear the difference, really showing us how much Ken has completely shifted his sound in such a short time. I have no idea why this song dropped or why Carti is on it, because
it was
I
to
think
boost
they
album
could
sales,
drop a
bro.
way better, more recent track. But I think it's still amazing and one of my favorites of the album.
It just got
so that is the evolution
somehow
of Ken Carson, starting off as boy Barbie.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. He is the GOAT. I can't wait. I'm excited to see like what's next from Ken. I think it's gonna be something like softer, not too like ragey, and I'm all here for it, man. Again, I think Project X is his best album, so I'm all here for it. Yeah.
Hey, walking to the party, they like, Gappa, is that you? Finna get